Okay, good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, ugly chart day. It's the beginning of a new week. It's non-farm payroll week. I'm going to start with the analysis for this morning. Just take a look at where we are in the week. And hey, Mike, good morning. How are you today? Happy Monday. I'm going to start off on the NASDAQ on the higher time frame. Actually, we're going to take a look at the calendar for the week first. So it's non-farm payroll, which traditionally is a difficult week to trade. Usually Monday and Tuesday is okay, but then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are days just to either de-risk or do something else for the week. I usually don't trade Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So today, nothing substantial. Tuesday, we have ISM Manufacturing and Jolt's job opening at 10 a.m. So I might be looking on Tuesday pre-market for something. Wednesday, non-farm employment change. Thursday, we have unemployment claims at 8:30, and then Friday, non-farm employment change, average hourly earnings month over month, and unemployment rate. So today's the only day where there is no news. And it did not look great overnight, so let's just start. Let's actually start on the daily on the NQ. Make this as big as possible. So we had a big drop down on Friday, and this is our Friday candle here. And so just looking at this, obviously, it's looking pretty bearish. However, we've been dropping consistently for 1, 2, 3, and then overnight, so 3.5 days. So the trend is bearish. I'm always a little hesitant to get involved in thinking that the market is going to go significantly lower after we've had this good run down. You know, price could be trying to find a bottom, could be trying to find its footing. So I'm a little careful. I don't just jump into short after we've had 3 significant days of lower prices. But what we do have on the daily, and we can just chart it so that we can be rather scientific about it, I guess, is we have these 2 daily imbalances. We have this large one here, and we have this daily one here. I'm just going to take these things off my daily just so I can focus here. What we do have is a daily imbalance, which is right here, this blue line here. So a daily imbalance is when there's 2 candles and there is space between the 2 candles. So you can clearly see that between this candle and this candle, there's space. There was no buying or selling between these 2 points. So this is volume imbalance on the daily time frame. 2 daily SIBIs. I've marked here. I went back to the weekly just to try and get a little bit more information in terms of what is below us, so that if price wants to run down, where is it likely to go? Where is it likely to draw to? And I've put in this line here, which is a daily low, sorry, a weekly low, and this one here Now this is pretty far down. This is 18,200, but I just want to drop it onto my chart. And then, so that is my weekly low. And then if price continues down, I would be looking at taking the consequent encroachment of this wick. I'm not going to do it today because that would be a significant drop. I'm not sure we would get there today, but it's something that I have on my radar, that this weekly wick here, the consequent encroachment of it, might be an area of interest. Okay, so let's go back to the daily. I've got my previous week high on here. I've got my previous day high, which was Friday. I have marked this area on my chart as an area of interest. It's daily lows, and this was an area where price rejected from once and a half, twice. So I've put this on my chart as a daily low point of interest. And I'll be carrying that through the week to see if price would want to come back and retest, and that is at 19,607. So it's quite close to a round number, 19,600, which is usually a significant area. So that is an area of interest for me this week. We have our settlement price from Friday. Price settled at 414. Then we have our previous day low and previous week low. Sunday opening, I always put on my chart the first candle, the first price from Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I have my Sunday opening price here. Okay, so let's go down to the 4 hour and see if we can just get a little bit more information. Here is my midnight vertical line. And we can see, we'll take a look when we're down on the 15 minutes, but we can see that price was mostly above midnight for most of the night, most of the overnight. Instead of putting a 4 hour SIBI here, I've broken it down into the hourly, but we'll get to that when we get to the hourly. I did put onto my chart, I took my fib and I drew my fib from this high, and this high was from Tuesday, March 25th, down to the low, current low. And if we take that fib and I plot it, I'm looking at the 50%. So here is my 50%. Let me just move this. This dotted line here is my 50% of this leg. And then above that is my 62 to 79%, which is optimal trade entry. Now, I don't know that price is going to get back to here anytime soon. It might not even get back to there, but I like to put that on my chart because we know that the algorithm likes to return to levels that it's previously been at. So here's my OTE and my 50%, and the 50% is at 19,823 approximately. So I just wanted to give you some idea of where I drew my fib from. I could draw a SIBI up in here, but we're pretty far away from price, so I'm not going to clutter up my chart with that. And then we can see that my point of interest on the daily lows, you can see where price has hit here once, twice, 3 times rejected off here to go higher. So this is an area of interest. If we don't get up to the 50% or we don't get up to the optimal trade entry, this is just a level of interest. So I've labeled it daily lows point of interest. So if price does a pullback, this is the area that I would be watching to see what the response is. Do we get a rejection off there then to go lower, or do we break above? So okay, let's go down to now the 1 hour. One hour just gives us a little bit more information. You can see here that I've divided up the 4 hour SIBI into 1 hour increments. I just think they're little better bite-sized pieces. If you're going to stay with the 4 hour SIBI on your chart, then you probably want to use your fib and break it into quadrants, because that'll give you just a little more accuracy. Price has been just accumulating. So let's go down and take a look at what happened at London and Asia overnight. And the answer is not much. So we've had ranging accumulation. Basically been doing this. Now price has dropped here. Oops. Price has dropped here. This could be the manipulation for this morning. I'm not sure yet. But because Asia ranged and London ranged, London failed to make a higher high. It did not take the high of Asia. So on my chart I've put London high, but I'm also sharing that with Asia high. Here's our London, midnight at midnight. So we have been mostly above midnight, and then we've dropped down in the early morning hours to possibly form manipulation. But again, I'm not sure yet. So this would be accumulation. This could possibly be manipulation. And then next we would be looking at distribution, which would be, yeah, something like this. Anyway, that's one possibility that I'm looking at. The other possibility is that it's Monday, there's no news, it's non-farm payroll week, and price may just continue to trend between these two levels for the morning. That's always possible. Just a reminder what ICT says: when the day before there's a big drop down, the following morning price can basically just accumulate. So I wouldn't be surprised if we just accumulated, and so that's another possibility. So we have our major levels to the downside. We have our levels on the higher time frame. We have our volume imbalance here. We have our hourly SIBIs that are potential areas of interest. We have our settlement price from Friday, which we'll just draw to here. Approximately, I'll just make adjustments. It's only 9:13, so I'll continue making adjustments to the, where are we here? Opening range gap. And that is Monday. So we'll see when market opens what kind of volume comes into the market. See whether price has any wind under its wings to make a move up, maybe into this opening range gap, maybe stretch for this hourly SIBI here, and potentially this hourly. That would be a really nice pullback. And that would take us up to close to 50% of this leg from here to here. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm in no rush to take a trade on a Monday, excuse me, on a Monday morning of non-farm payroll week. There's just not much happening here. Also, just to note that when Asia and London range like this, manipulation comes later in the day. Often manipulation can come in the New York open. And this candle here is 7:30. So this will be interesting to watch to see if indeed this is manipulation and then price distributes higher. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hi, good morning, Peter. Okay, let's take a look at that. Thank you, Peter. We've got a big SMT between ES and NQ on the 4-hour and the daily. Okay, we'll take a look at that. We're going to look at ES next. So you've probably noticed I've switched to micros for this week. This is a deload week for me because it's non-farm payroll. I generally don't trade the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but I'm happy to be here on Monday and Tuesday just to look at the chart. So that is, those are the highlights for me and points of interest from the higher time frame down to the lower time frame. So let's go over to ES. And let's start on the daily. points of interest on ES are pretty similar to NQ. I actually want to start on the weekly. Just gives us a little bit more information in terms of what is below current price. So here is where we currently are. And I've marked the levels below current price in terms of here's a daily low, here's another daily low. We'll see that once we get onto the daily. And then here's a weekly low. I'm not going to put my weekly low on because that is like way down, 52.60. Hopefully price doesn't go down there. But we shall see. It could. So let's go back to the daily. Let me just see here. I have a volume imbalance, but I'm going to wait to the 4 hour to put that daily, to put that volume imbalance on. We have our SIBIs here. This is on the daily. We have another volume imbalance here. It's an area of interest. Then we have a large SIBI. Here. And I'm going to take the daily off of my hourly and minute chart. I don't want to see anything that big on my minute and daily and hourly chart. So, okay, so we've got two volume imbalances, two daily SIBIs. We've swept this low this morning, this low here. And we don't have much else here on the daily, so let's go to the 4 hour. You're using slightly different contracts, Peter? Linked ones. I'm not sure what you mean by linked ones, not for a specific quarter, and it looks a little bit different. Okay, I'm in the June contracts. Okay, so we're on the 4 hour now, and I've put in my 4 hour SIBI here. Again, this is quite large, and so a little bit later I might divide that with my fib into quarterly units. Volume imbalance. We have swept here. And we have our daily lows below in case price decides to drop, although I would hope for a bit of a pullback anyway. We take our fib and we take from this high down to this low. I'm just going to drop on here my OTE, which is right here, 62 to 79%. And I also just want to drop in the 50% of this leg, which is here, as a point of interest. Okay. So we've got something to shoot for. Imbalance, this SIBI, again, on the higher level. I don't know the price is going to make it up to here. You know, maybe later in the week, I don't know. But anyway, it's good just to have this on the chart. Drop down to the 1 hour. I think there's construction around me, so sorry if you hear that noise. I'm just going to take this out. Here's our midnight. And there's our midnight opening. Drop down to the 15. Here's our Asia and London. Okay. So on this side we have our ES. Here we have our this one here, ES. I'm going to stay on the 5 minutes until opening, and then we'll move to the 1 minute. And then after that, I'll be looking for my Scarface 5 minute opening range candle. And after that, I'm moving to the 5 minute for the rest of the morning. Okay, I haven't heard linked contracts, but I'll check that out. I'm just going to make a note of that because I haven't heard ICT talk about that, but I appreciate you raising that linked contracts. I think last night, Mulhan, who I've mentioned before is like a pretty great trader, he trades London and Asia. He just did a video on the seasonalities, so I think I'm going to look a little more into that this today and just take a look and see if ICT has mentioned anything about seasonalities. Have you guys heard anything about seasonalities? No, that's great, Peter. I appreciate it because like we're here to learn from each other. So, okay, so it's 9:23. I'm still looking at this area as potentially being the manipulation. If we just quickly look at our opening week gaps, daily gaps, this area here, new week opening gap, right inside our opening range gap for this morning. You know, overall, just on a big picture, I'd love to see a pullback at least to the 50% of current leg. But like I say, unless it finds some volume, you know, we'll just have to wait and see. And here's our OTE up here and another volume imbalance. Ah, linked contracts are continuous contracts. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. In Q1, that's right. In some brokerages, you don't have to, you can use that. I was with a brokerage that wouldn't allow me to do that. I can't remember if it's the one I'm currently using or a previous one. I think it was when I was trading a prop firm. I had to switch to the most current. It wouldn't allow me to use the NQ1, but I could be mistaken. It was a while ago. Are you guys on NQ1? Is read this. Are you on NQ1? Is that what you're trading on? Guys, I wanted to be able to like bring each of you onto the morning podcast show, but I don't have that availability with my software. I thought I did. I need Pro. Now I'm not ready to go like Pro with my software yet when I can do everything with what I currently have. So anyway, I was disappointed when I realized that because it would be so much fun. Maybe once we grow. Yeah, Navy Chop, seasonality today is the end of Q1. You're absolutely right. It's the last day of March, and it is non-farm payroll. So for anyone who missed earlier, I'll just bring up it's 9:26, we'll just bring up the calendar again. So usually, I think ICT usually says like Monday and Tuesday are okay for trading, and then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday can be super choppy, retracements, big wicks. Like it's a tough week. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I think generally ICT doesn't trade it, but I think I'll probably be here just to take a look at the market. I don't have, I'm saving some gunpowder for next week, right? This is traditionally not a week that I would increase. If anything, I'm deloading this week. Give the market a chance to move into April, get through non-farm payroll, and then, see what's available next week. But and tomorrow there's news at, I think it's 10 a.m. So I will be looking for a pre-market trade. So I'll be starting to look at like around 6 a.m. Be looking for something. Just want to let you guys know that. Okay, so it's 9:27. We've been in the middle of a big ice storm here in Ontario, Canada. And so yesterday I had like really spotty Wi-Fi. I thought I might lose power altogether. I think there's almost 500,000 people without power. Like the ice storm we had is unbelievable here. It's just solid ice. It's so treacherous. I had to put crampons on my boot. Like I have to walk with crampons on my boots. For those of you who live in warm countries, crampons are like spikes. They're titanium spikes so that I don't fall. It's been ridiculous. Hopefully we get into April. It's a slightly better weather. I can't wait to get my e-scooter out. So again, I'm a little bit curious to see if this indeed is manipulation here. So this was accumulation, possibly manipulation, and then potentially distribution. Go down to the 1 minute. So here, just thinking accumulation, manipulation, and then distribution. It's a possibility because I don't think we had manipulation. London did not sweep Asia. It touched it, it kissed it, but I think there's a 3-point spread between Asia and London. Those are 9:30. buy side on the 1 minute here, possibly here. Just going to move this over. $9:30 open. Draw our fib. Find our quarterlies. I've put 3 links in the description of today's video that you guys can check out after, and I'll talk about that after we get through the morning open here. I'm sure you guys can hear water running. That's our weather. That's that's the like unbelievable amount of ice and water, and like it's just insane here. Sounds like I live near a river or something. I do, but that's actually water and ice freezing and unfreezing. Coming up to our weekly low that we've identified on the chart. Okay, so those are the first 5 candles. So this weekly low that we put on our chart that we identified this morning on the higher time frames. This is why we put the higher time frames on the chart, because they're really meaningful levels. Let's put our first fair value gap on the chart. And we'll keep that on for the day. Somehow I think this is going to be an interesting day. Like, not interesting in an exciting way, but interesting in a test your patience day. Mike, I use 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for my Asia start. Mike, do you use the indicator for Asia, London, and New York? Because when you open up that indicator, you can actually put in whatever times that you want to show on your chart. So for some people want to use that indicator like just to show their kill zones. And some traders like to use it to show like a longer period of time. So you can make adjustments however you want. But let me know if you use that indicator. The one that I use is ICT kill zones and pivots. This is the one that I use. And then you can see, like, I remove New York AM, New York lunch, and New York PM because I don't want all that stuff on my chart. You can adjust the color, and then you can adjust the time. So you can see here Asia. I have Asia from 8 p.m. Eastern Standard to midnight. And then London I have starting at 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. And then the rest I just disregard. Okay, so Mike, if you go to in your indicators and just look for this one here, it's a really good one. ICT, kill zones and pivots, and it's by Trade for Op. Trade for Op. So click on that, and then it'll give you, like, it'll load you up with everything. But like I say, you don't want to see, it'll be too much on your chart. So you can open it up, you can uncheck New York AM, New York lunch, and New York PM. Just get rid of that, because really what you're interested in, or anyway, what I'm interested in is Asia and London. I don't need someone to tell me when New York opens. And then you have all these other, you can have daily highs and lows, weekly highs and lows. You can have your kill zone labels, or you can just take them off if you don't want to see them. High, low alerts. Like, it gives you a bunch of things. I don't have everything enabled. There's only a few specific things that I want. I'm mostly interested in Asia and London, but it's a great little indicator. And you can also put up here session drawing limit. It's how many you want to see. So I just go back like 3 days, but you could go back 10 days or 5 days or whatever to see Asia, London. So if you're doing some back testing, this is also very helpful for back testing because you can just choose the time frames that you want to back test, and then it's really easy to spot it on your chart because it highlights it in a color, right? So this is a very helpful indicator. So far, first presented fair value gap is being respected. We haven't broken 5-minute low. Again, this is the day, it's Monday, there's no news. It's non-farm payroll week. It's the last day of the month. Caveat emptor. Buyer beware. So if price is going to make a run for 50% of this opening range gap, it's only 942, then we would want to see this first presented gap here become inverted. So it's 9:44. I'm just going to show Mike something. So Mike, if you go to the 15 minutes and you've got your Asia and London enabled, you're able to have a much better view on the market in terms of what's happened. So you can see, so this was last night, Asia and London basically accumulated. This was Thursday night, which was a beautiful accumulation, manipulation, and then distribution down. And then this was the previous night. This would have been Wednesday night. Yeah, Wednesday night. So in this particular instance, we had Asia trend. London did not take out Asia. We came down, and then later in the day we took out Asia. So when you have this indicator on your chart, so you can see that I have 3 on my chart. If I go back into my indicator, if I change this to like 5, then you'll get the whole week. You'll be able to see the whole week. Or maybe you just want to see like the night before. But anyway, this is where you change. Also, when you first put up this indicator, I find the colors are pretty dark. So you can go in here and you can use this opacity to change the color, like to change the darkness. It's too dark. I can't see my wicks very well if I have it like really, really dark. So I change it to a light opacity. Anyway, that's just a few tips for anyone using this indicator. Okay, so we've got a little drop below. In 5 minutes. Price is showing weakness. This is not a signal service. I'm not signaling. I'm just throwing something on my chart because this is how I potentially take trades, is by putting something on my chart. It doesn't mean I'm taking a trade or I'm setting something up, so don't misinterpret this. And you should be following your own trading plan. Just throwing this on my chart to see, to get a 2RR, price would have to come to here. No. Feels more bullish, doesn't it? It's 9:50, the macro's starting. See if this fair value gap becomes inverted. If price gets above here, then we've got potential of a bullish breaker. Low, high, lower, low, higher, high. We're not there yet. I'm just potentially yep. Thanks, read this. Yep, it's 9:54. And overall, it's just pretty weak, right? We're in a macro, and yet we're not making any fair value gaps. It's just have a small fair value gap here. Okay, let's see the reaction at the first presented fair value gap. Now this order block is confirmed. The order block is confirmed when price exceeds the candle or number of candles that are down candles prior to the move up. I just want to quickly look on the 5-minute here and see if I have a break of structure. Yep, break of structure on the 5 minutes. See if this becomes inverted. So we've closed above here, so now we have a bullish breaker. Low, high, lower, low, higher, high. So I would want price to return in here. And our bullish breaker is here to here. Sorry, so many dark lines here. So we have an order block, we have a 5-minute break of structure to the upside, we have a bullish breaker. And we have fair value gaps inside the breaker. I still want to see if this first presented fair value gap gets inverted. it's ambitious, but I just would like to see it fill 50% of the gap, but we'll see. Let's see this first presented fair value gap become inverted. We also have this new week opening gap up here. Yeah, exactly. Read this. It's just a sticky start to the day again. Read this. I'm committed to my framework because I have my bullish breaker. I have my 5-minute break of structure. I have an opening range gap above me. And I have bullish order flow. And we've been above midnight for most of Asia and London. So those are 4 major confluences that are keeping me in this trade. Just wanted to explain that, but it's sticky. So ideally, I'd like to see price come to 50%, but this new week opening gap here is also a draw on liquidity. I'm trying not to be greedy. We're already at a 3.73 RR. But I still like the idea of getting up into this opening range gap. What do you guys think? Am I being greedy or should I exit while the going is good? I think we sell one more soon and then we leave a couple of runners, see if it gets up there. I truly struggle between trying not to be greedy and versus patience, right? So, part of my mind is like, just take the money and run. And part of it is, Louisa, you exit too early most of the time. So develop some patience and stay within the framework of where you think price is going. It's really not moving anywhere. Okay, well, I'm getting out now because I'm not losing money on this trade, but price might be coming back into the bullish breaker and then, you know, going back up. But I'm not putting my stop loss down here at the bottom of the breaker. There's no way. But that's what might be happening here. We might be coming back into the bullish breaker and then back up. And ideally, you know, your stop is at the bottom of the breaker, but as I say, I'm not doing that. So let's see if we come back in. Okay, so poll, greed won out. Greed won this morning. Greed 1, Louisa 0. Let's see. If we come back down into the breaker, I want to see where we are in the 5-minute. Here's my low and here's my high. We never broke above Scarface's 5-minute candle. I should have taken that 380 and run. Hindsight. Still, I think that this breaker, it's a nice breaker. Yeah, exactly. Micros make it. That's why I've decided to go with micros this week, because I want to give that 5-minute break of structure a little more room to breathe. That's exactly right. Thank you. I'll read this. I just want to go back to the 5-minute here because here's my high. We really need to break above this high. And this is my low down here. Now it's 10:21. I don't know. Price came back into breaker, so let's see if it wants to come further down. Maybe even tap back into the order block. If we look for equilibrium, we're just above equilibrium. Here's the 50% of this range, this morning's range. This is now an inverted. And we're below the first presented fair value gap again. Think with breakers, you know, price can come all the way back down. I'm still I'm still bullish because of the gap above us. Here's our order block. Looking at this fair value gap here. Thanks, read this. Yeah, guys, please like, share, subscribe if you learned something or enjoyed anything from this live stream. I've put 3 links in the description of this video, so when it's finished you can check them out. One is the latest video by Scarface, and he gives some really good tips on the 5-minute opening strategy that he uses. He talks about speed, the speed of the candles, which he's never spoken about before as far as I'm concerned. And I put TJR's link in there, and I also put ICT's video from Saturday in there, so you guys can check those out. Those are 3 really great videos too from this week, and TJR, that's his strategy. You guys know I trade each morning. So we're just below the 50% of this breaker block. Just at the 50%. And just at the tip of the order block. Oh, here we are back on the 15, so price came down, we had a little push up and pulling back down into that breaker block. Touching the order block. Well, it's definitely kind of what we expected for Monday morning of last day of the month and the week of non-farm payroll. So, you know, we had a lackluster Asia and London where both ranged. There was no trending. Price dropped down. We potentially thought that this might be a manipulation. Price has traded back into the bullish breaker. But we're getting a lot of wicks, you know, showing that sellers are stepping in. Ideally, I'd want to see price above this fair value gap and then push up into here. I don't know, I still like. This may be dumb, but I still like this. We'll go one more time. Could be a big fat nothing burger, but let's see. Okay, if you guys think I'm being greedy, shout it out. Shout it out in the chat. Just write greed, 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 and all. But I want to see it get to this 50%. I saw another one. It's 50% of my position taken off. This is really a troublesome area. Just weakness up in this area. It just doesn't want to go. That's it. That's all for me for today. That's like more than my max 2 trades, but it's just we're basically, you know, ranging. We just can't seem to get past this area here. Let's just look on the 15 minutes. Yeah, this is just reject, reject, reject. That's too bad. You know, like I think like it on any other day at any other time, this would have been a great setup in terms of, you know, identifying manipulation and then looking for at least 50% of this opening range gap. Like on any other day of any other week, I just kind of feel like this would be a good setup. You guys know how much I trade unicorns and breaker blocks, and when price is running well and respecting the algorithm, those breaker blocks are high probability, which is why I trade them. Today, it feels like it's a struggle, right? We just kind of get to the same place and then we reject, and we get to the same place and we reject. So, I think at some point you have to say, okay, move the stop loss so you don't take a loss, hope for the best, but don't take a loss. That's, I think, what I was trying for today. And I'm always in my mind juggling greed versus patience. Patience because I know where price should go. I know that price has a 70% chance of going to this 50% level, right? And then my greed is saying, oh, for goodness sakes, you've rejected here twice, like just take the money and run. So that's the conundrum I have in my head. But don't be afraid, guys, if you think like my greed is overtaking my life, just shout it out, just like, Louisa, take your money and run, you're being greedy. Sometimes you can't see it in yourself, but I would not take offense to that at all. Yeah, thanks, Peter. I appreciate your input. And I think read this, as he said, or she said, I don't know, earlier, what did he say or she said earlier? Anyway, I can't remember. He said something meaningful. Read this a bit earlier. Okay, guys, well, it's 10:41, so I think I'm going to wrap up the stream for this morning. I thank you for being here and contributing to our community. If you guys gained anything from this, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll be back tomorrow morning. And do check out the three links that I'll put in the description of today's video. 2 current videos, one from ICT on Saturday, one from Scarface, who made an excellent video and dropped a few diamonds on a few more things to look for his 5-minute candle strategy. And then the third one, because I trade the TJR 5-minute break of structure, I will always put that one in with timestamps. So if you guys are interested in checking him out, feel free. They all use ICT concepts, and we use ICT concepts here in different formulations. I don't think there's a right or a wrong way to use ICT concepts. I think you just build something that you develop an edge with and trust. So that's the philosophy on this channel here. So have a great day, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. We have 10 a.m. news tomorrow morning. So I'll be looking at the pre-market, not live, but I'll be looking for a trade tomorrow morning before the market opens. Okay, guys, peace out. Have an amazing day. Bye for now.